President Donald Trump orders the National Guard into Memphis, calling the city America's most violent and warning Chicago could be next. The new Memphis Safe Task Force mirrors his DC crackdown, even as local leaders insist crime is already falling. Supporters hail law and order. Critics decry federal overreach. From Washington to Tennessee, and perhaps Chicago, Trump's latest move tests the limits of presidential power. US President Donald Trump signed an order on September 15th to deploy the National Guard to Memphis in what he said would be a replica of his Washington, D.C. crime crackdown, and said Chicago is probably next.
I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them. Step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now.
Trump argued that Memphis suffers from some of the nation's worst crime statistics.
Off of our streets, we're going to get them off. In 2024, Memphis had the highest violent crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the third highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well, thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City.
According to the Associated Press, Trump described the new task force as a mirror of his August crackdown in Washington, which saw the National Guard deployed on city streets.
This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here, and you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next.
The president said the Memphis Safe Task Force will involve not just the National Guard, but also the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, US Marshals, and federal prosecutors. He added that the operation will be led by US Attorney Pam Bondi.
The task force will be a replica, as I said, and it's going to be, I think, equally successful. This is a tremendous success we've had in Washington, I can tell you, and everyone knows it. And people in the White House that work here and other people that I know are calling me and thanking me. They're going out to dinners, they're doing things that they haven't done in years. The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, and the US Marshals, and more along the prosecutors. We're going to have DOJ led by US Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee.
Following the announcement, Bondi praised Trump in a post on X.
In recent weeks, President Donald Trump has restored law and order to D.C. Today, I was proud to stand with him as he signed an order to do the same for another American city, Memphis. In 2024, Memphis had the highest rate of violent crime per capita, nearly 7 times the national average. City by city, we will make America safe again.
The administration has framed violent crime as a national emergency and cast Democrats as weak on public safety. But critics argue that federal troop deployments threaten civil liberties. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has opposed Trump's earlier threats to send the Guard into Chicago, condemned the idea. On the other hand, as you've heard, the president says things one day and then goes back on them the next day, changes his mind from week to week, so we never really know what he intends to do. All I can say is that sending troops into any American city is a terrible idea. Trump also signaled that St. Louis and New Orleans may be next on his list of targeted cities. The latest test of President Donald Trump's law and order campaign has drawn resistance from Memphis's Democratic Mayor Paul Young. On September 13th, Young rejected Trump's claim that he was happy about the president's plan to deploy the National Guard to the city. In a post on X, the mayor stressed that he never requested federal troops and doubted the move would reduce crime.
Yesterday morning, we learned that the governor and president have decided to place the National Guard and other resources in Memphis, which they have the authority to do. I want to be clear. I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it is the way to drive down crime.
Memphis is known globally for its music industry and its historic ties to rock and roll, soul, and the blues. Last year, it reported the highest violent crime rate among US cities of 100,000 people or more, according to 2024 FBI crime data. An Al Jazeera review of federal crime statistics found that Memphis recorded 2,501 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Oakland, California followed with 1,925 and Detroit, Michigan with 1,781. In an interview with CNN's Victor Blackwell on First of All over the weekend, Young said,
I am looking forward to trying to find ways to invest in the things that we're already doing to address crime in our city. We've seen significant reductions over the past 2 years since we've been in office, and we want to continue that work. At the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that if they are coming here, which we now know they are, that we are able to drive how they engage in our city.
Memphis police, however, say this figure does not paint a full picture of the city's violent crime situation amid historic crime reductions in the first 8 months of 2025.
Overall crime is at a 25-year low, with robbery, burglary, and larceny also reaching 25-year lows. Murder is at a 6-year low, aggravated assault at a 5-year low, and sexual assault at a 20-year low.
Despite this decline, the city reported 146 homicides so far in 2025 and 4,308 cases of aggravated assault.